Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Bowen, and this is my TicTacToe game that I made for Project and Portfolio 4. As you can see, I have the pieces as the alpha and omega symbols to make it more visually appealing. And as you can see, player 1 or alpha has won, and we can check the code real quick to see how this works. The array is set to 0 to 8 since there's 9 spaces. And here's the functions that we use throughout the code. Here in the check when function, we check to see if either player 1 or player 2 won in the rows, columns, and diagonals. Here on start, we set it to where none of the spaces are shown, so we can click on the space and show each symbol in the correct order. In the enter move, we have it to where alpha goes first and omega goes next. Here we have the turn counter, which increments by 1 each click. And here we see if neither player won and 9 turns have passed, and we assume it's a draw. Here in this bool, we get the current turn, which will mean that player 1 or player 2 is on their current turn. And that's something we don't really need because the code does that already for us. Here's more variables that we're using. Here on the on click down, we have it to where if you click on a space, you cannot click on it again. And here in the interactive function, this is where we allow it to switch between alpha and omega, depending on whose turn it is. And in this init, this is where we label the alpha and omega symbols as their appropriate value of 1 or 2, or 0 or 1. Here on start, with the button, we don't have either of the symbols showing, so we can go start with an empty board. And now we can move on to lights out, which again uses the same symbols. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to uncheck all of these over here so that we can show that it can be won. Click on a space. Yep, you win. The puzzle solved. Checkbox is set to true. We can look through the code very quickly. Again, we have the array set to where it's 0 to 24 since it's 5 by 5. Here's more variables that we're using, and this is how we show the puzzle solved checkbox in the inspector. This check when function lets the game know if the board is completely in the omega, which symbolizes that all the lights are off. Here on start, we randomize each of the symbols to make a challenge for the players. Here in the enter move, we have it to where you can click on a space and the adjacent squares also change as well. And in this function, if all the symbols are omega, then we set the puzzle solved thing to true and you tell the player you win. And we don't need to get a turn because it's a single player game. And here on mouse down, we allow the player to click on the space multiple times to trying to solve the puzzle. Here on set on and off, we have it to where 0 or alpha is set to false and true, and omega is set to true initially, otherwise it's alpha is true and omega is false. Here's the initial value for the child values, which is 0 or 1 for alpha and omega. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching.